welcome back to another Realtor Spotlight. We got Ricardo Lopez with us today.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Nice to have you. Ricardo.
Yes.
What, Richard? Ricardo.
Ricardo.
Oh, it's
yeah,
on
or
your birth.
Ricky.
Ricky?
Yeah, some people call me Ricky.
Right.
Ricardo. Some people misspell it. It's Richardo. Sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Starbucks gets it wrong all the time.
There's all kinds of nicknames for Richard.
Yeah.
I get it. I've lived with them all my life. So, but it's good to have you.
Yeah, good to be here.
So you're South Side? Grew up?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Moore.
Okay.
Yeah, good old Moore, Oklahoma.
Right.
So familiar with the tornadoes and everything. Grew up with that. Went through May 3rd
Right.
when I was 7. But
did your house get hit?
No. So we were on, I think, by 27th and Eastern. So it was close. Yeah, it was close.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I remember it pretty vividly.
It was a crazy day.
It was.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I've got some stories for that. But
Yeah.
so you went to what elementary school? You went.
So man, I was all over the place. I went to Whiting Creek. I went to Broadmoor as well, and then I went to Early Wine once we moved to the west side of Moore.
Okay.
And then went to Westmore, and then Southmore opened up. Went to Southmore High School.
You graduated from Southmore.
Yeah,
Okay.
2010.
Just go as your senior year,
It was my junior year.
or okay,
My
right.
junior year. So
Yeah.
should have stayed at Westmore because most of my friends were there. But since it was like the new thing, I kind of wanted to go.
What year was that?
2009 when it opened, but I graduated 2010.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you were between my oldest and middle, Jeff and Andrew. I think he was
Oh, really?
7 and 13. I think is when they graduated.
Oh, okay.
8, maybe 8. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Was Jeff Westmore?
Jeff was. They both were.
Oh, they both were?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All three of them were Westmore, but
Okay.
Nico wasn't until 19, I think.
Yeah.
Or 18. I don't know. Yeah. The third one, who at that point you don't care.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway, so you grew up there. Your dad, he's got a restaurant, right?
Yeah. He's got Ricky's Cafe. So
Okay.
he opened that in 2000. So
Okay.
it's been 23 years now.
He's a Ricardo.
Yeah, he's Ricardo.
So you too?
Yeah.
Okay. You gonna
Junior,
is there
if
going to
you
be a
will,
3?
Yeah. What's that?
You going to go for Trey?
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so he opened up the restaurant in 2000, and so I started working in the restaurant at an early age.
I feel like it was way before 2000.
No, it was 2000. It was September 11th, 2000. So his 1-year anniversary was September 11th.
2000.
Yeah.
I was thinking 2020. Okay.
No,
yeah, no,
2000.
I feel like it's always been there.
Yeah, it's 23
Okay.
years now. But yeah, so I started working in there, started at the cash register, cashing people out, and I was...
And that was where? That was the one on...
it was on 19th Street.
Right. On,
it was an old Dairy Queen, actually. So right now there's the Waffle House that's there on 19th, and there was a Carl's Jr. I don't think it's there anymore.
Carl's Jr. was on the south side of 19th, I think, right?
Yeah, originally.
Yeah. Okay.
But across the highway from where it's at now.
Right.
Yeah. So, it was Ross, Carl's Jr., and then the Waffle House came in later. But yeah, so that's where he started at that old Dairy Queen, and then the guy that was redeveloping that area because it's now a big shopping center there.
Right.
He actually, it was pretty a crazy deal. He paid my dad X amount of money for his real estate, and he built him a new restaurant closer to I-35.
Okay.
So he's still there, on 19th.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty crazy deal.
Yeah. So you worked. Well, how old were you when you were working there?
8 years old. Yeah.
Fun?
8 years old. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun. Worked the register, and then I went to busting tables. I was washing dishes as well, and then finally was serving tables, and then I stepped into like the management
Sure.
role as well. The whole everything.
Brothers and sisters?
I have 3 sisters. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
the only boy. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
Only boy in the family.
That's interesting.
So they all work there too, except my youngest sister. But yeah, my older sisters, we all work together there. And it was fun. We learned the ins and outs of the industry. And it was cool. It was a good learning experience.
Why didn't your younger sister work there?
Well, it's because she's very young. So
Okay.
yeah, I was 15 whenever she was born.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So my oldest sister was 20 years old when she was born, when my little sister was born.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she was very young.
How old is she now?
She's 16 today.
Okay.
Yeah, it's her birthday.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's 16 today, so she's kind of like that.
She Westmore? Or
Yeah,
Southmore?
she's Westmore. Yeah,
Okay.
she's Westmore.
Yeah.
Yep. So she was kind of not spoiled, but I think my dad, when we were younger, he was more about just the grind. He was in there 7 days a week and just grinding it out with us there with him,
Right.
And now I think he's, reaping the benefits,
Yeah.
I guess. So he now is more focused on enjoying time with family.
Sure.
So ever since she was born.
Does he still run the restaurant?
He's there. He's there mostly like weekends.
Uh-huh.
He's got his GM that runs it during the week, but he's mostly there on the weekends.
Right.
Yeah. But
what a great way to grow up.
yeah, it's cool. Yeah. I loved it. I mean,
Yeah.
as far as like business goes, I think we were very, business oriented. Our household. It's funny. I was thinking about it driving up here. My brother-in-law, first time I heard it, he was talking to someone else, and he said, "Man, whenever I started like hanging out with them at their family's house, every time for dinner, it was always like business conversations and stuff about real estate, which I never even realized it.
Right.
It was just
Right.
normal to me.
Sure.
But now when he said that, I was like, wow, it really is. Like every time we get together, it's just about real estate, about business, just talking things like that.
You
And
got
I
to
love
think
it.
about something else to talk about.
Yeah.
That's hard work.
But I mean, I love it. That's
Sure.
what got me into the industry.
Was your
as
mom
well.
involved in all of it?
In the restaurant? Yeah.
Yeah.
She was involved in the restaurant. She ran one that they had on 23rd Street, which they finally leased that out to another restaurant. So
23rd and what?
right by the Capitol, Northeast 23rd on I-35. It's next to a Burger King that's there.
Oh.
There's a Burger King,
Yeah.
On Q, Sonic, and then there was Ricky's Cafe.
Okay.
So that was there, I think, like 16, 17 years.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
I was
more.
thinking 10th Street. Yeah.
Yeah, on 23rd.
Yeah, 23rd.
Mhm.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So she's the one that ran that one for, like a good 10 years for sure.
Okay.
But it was open like 15 years.
Right.
And they leased that one out to another restaurant. I think it was like a seafood restaurant now. But
So you got when you graduated from Southmore, where'd your life go after that? What'd you do?
real estate.
You got into
I jumped in, yeah. So
Yeah.
I started in the real estate game in 2011, so a year after I graduated high school.
Okay.
And
You got your license?
No,
Okay.
so investing.
Okay.
Yeah,
right,
investing. I got my first flip, I guess, first flip in 2011, and I didn't get my license until I graduated college in 2014.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so
And then what'd you do? Where'd you go in 14? Where'd you?
Keller
who were you?
Williams.
You were with Keller. Green
Yeah,
Meadow?
Green Meadow.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think they gave me the book that really helped me pass the test. So I was like, okay, they helped me out. I'll start at Green Meadow. But it was cool. I think for a new agent, they had a lot of resources and stuff. But once you get the hang of it, I think you can.
Whose downline were you in? Whose downline were
It
you
was
in?
Shelley Wall.
Okay.
Do you know Shelley?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think she was there. So I was there from 99 to 11 or something.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think she was there. If she was, I didn't know her at that point, but I've known her since. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it was a great place to work.
Yeah.
It
was good.
I liked being there. Yeah, I don't have no regrets. Maybe I should have left earlier and started up.
I
doing
think,
what I'm doing.
I have the same feeling.
Yeah.
hmm
But no, definitely a good atmosphere. Love
Yeah.
Casey Cook, and I
Yeah.
don't know how well you know Casey. But,
Mhm.
Anyway, so you got into it just flipping, or were you buying, selling for other folks, or?
Just flipping. So yeah, I started 2011 just flipping houses, and then to be 100% transparent, I got my license because I was kind of tired of paying 6% commission
Right.
to realtors.
I'd get that.
Yeah, so I got my license, and I was missing out on a lot of deals as well, just because realtors I was using at the time, they didn't write the contracts on time, the offers on time, or they couldn't show me the property when I wanted, and so I missed out on opportunities there.
Right.
So I said, I'm just going to get my license.
That makes
And
100%.
it really has,
Yeah.
been beneficial to me, as far as writing my own offers and getting into houses when they hit the market.
Do you do much for other folks, or you pretty much is this just
Mostly investing.
Right,
Yeah, I just
right.
mostly investing for myself, but I do help friends and family when they
Okay.
need, to buy houses or sell their house. I do help.
right?
So my realtor side of the business is more, kind of call it like boutique real estate service, because I don't really do a lot of transactions for
Right.
other people, but when I do, it's just like 100% focused just on them because I don't have other clients.
Right.
I mostly do, my investing.
Right.
So when I do help, friends or family out, it's obviously the commission's great that I make, the money's great, but it's mostly for their benefit, and I make sure that everything is,
Right.
in
Right.
the transaction is good for them.
Yeah.
And the money's just a bonus after that.
Yeah.
So
What, as far as in the flipping industry, you started in 11, you said.
yeah.
What's from 11 to 2023? Has it changed much?
yeah,
Or-
and more, I was buying houses for $40,000.
Well, yeah, I get
left and
that.
right. Yeah.
But finding them is different. What,
Yes,
or is it all,
yeah,
is
it's
it always-
way harder.
What's
Yeah.
different? Like-
Just obviously what's happened since 2020, everything's skyrocketed, and it's very difficult now to find a good deal.
Right.
So back then, I mean, I was getting houses for $40,000 to $50,000, 3 bedroom, 1.5 bath and more, and they were houses on the MLS.
Right.
You know, so now to get deals even remotely close to that, you have to basically get them off market. If once they hit the MLS, it's going to be multiple offers. You know, all these investors jumping in.
Well, how are you finding the ones that are off the market?
Realtors, just connections. Some realtors have came and they know that I buy houses, so maybe they have a like friend or family that they need to get rid of their house, and I hop in and I can buy them pretty fast.
So what's the $40,000 house that sold in 2012? What's that sell for today?
Like 160.
That's funny, isn't it?
Like 160.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's insane.
I think as a realtor, you know, I've been doing it long enough to where, you know, I was sharing in one of the other interviews that my first house was $24,000 that I bought, or that I represented somebody.
Yeah.
And you know, that same house now is about $130,000. You know, it's somewhere 36th and Walker, somewhere in the western area.
Yeah.
And so it's hard. What I'm finding as a realtor, you know, I don't buy or sell for clients any longer. You know, but what I find is I'm like, I want to talk people out of it because they're too high.
Yeah.
And they're not too high for today. They're right for today, but it just, I think the older you get, you're like, wait a minute, that was $24,000 back then. But
it doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, the prices don't make sense. I know for a fact those houses are not worth 160 today.
Right.
But it's so weird. I mean, the market is the market.
But they are. They are worth it.
The market is the market, and right now they are worth that.
Right.
And will they be worth that a year or two from now? Nobody knows. You know, it's so unsure right now with, you know, the.
Well, I think you can predict somewhat based on historical data. We know, or I shouldn't say we know, but there has never been a time since real estate has been kept track of that there has been a decrease in value over a 7-year period ever. So, you know, if in 1915 it was worth something, we know that by 1922 it's worth more.
Right.
So even through the Great Depression, it was still value. Real estate was a pretty safe investment.
Yeah, we studied when I was in college. So I majored in finance, and one of my classes was financial history. So we learned all about the recessions and everything like that. And every 8 years, you know, there was a recession, but every 8 years, it, you know, came down, came back up.
Just kind of made a little correction.
Yeah, and it's crazy that we went as far back as to like I think the 1400s, and you studied, you know, like Ponzi schemes and stuff. You know,
that's funny.
Yeah. And it's pretty crazy that
in the 1400s
history repeats itself, you know.
Right.
And you would think that we would learn from history, but I guess greed is pretty blind.
Right. That's really interesting to think about. I can't imagine studying back further than the 1900s. I guess that's just a whole different world.
Right.
So what do you like about real estate? What?
Man, I mean, what's not to like, you know? So I actually read I forgot what book it was, but it said that real estate, as far as like investment purposes, is the ideal investment. Is, you know, it produces income.
Right.
D, depreciation. So great for tax benefits. Right. And E, the equity that you build up when you pay your mortgage down. A is the appreciation.
Wait, what's this acronym? Real estate? Oh, it's
ideal.
Ideal. Okay, what was I?
Income.
Okay.
D is depreciation.
Okay.
E is equity.
Okay.
And then A is appreciation.
Okay, and L is
leverage.
All right.
Yeah. So I don't.
Who made that up?
I forgot what book I read it in, but it always kind of stuck in my head because it was pretty good explanation of a real estate investment, you know.
Right.
And there's no other, you know, asset or investment that I can think of that you get all of those.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I love real estate.
I relate to that. You know, how many I can think of. You probably have made the decision to move forward with things. I'm usually really hesitant, like especially with buying something. And I don't know how many times or how many discussions I could have with somebody to tell you, I should have bought it then. I should have bought it then. I should have bought it.
Yeah.
And now, is it an I should have bought now time? That, you know, in 2030, are we going to be saying, you know, I should have bought all those $160,000 houses that were worth, you know, $24,000 back in the 90s. Should we have bought the 160s?
You know, in like 2015, there were a ton of houses near Northwest 10th to Northwest like 34th that I thought at the time they were high.
Where? Like
Between
Penn,
like Classen, Western area.
Yeah.
So I thought at the time they were high, you know, for what they were, and now those houses are selling for 300,000, you know, 350. So it's one of those times that I say I should have bought then.
Right. Is this a time?
But based on what I learned in school, you know, the 8 years, you know, cycle, 2016 was supposed to be a time that we were supposed to go into maybe a recession, hit the peak after 2008. But it never happened, you know, so I was kind of waiting on that, and
2020 should have happened.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
I
thought for sure 2020.
It just kept going up. Yeah. And there were some houses that I had in 2020 that I sold right before the pandemic, because it was actually like in April. So right when everything just kind of hit the fan, that I didn't know what was going to happen, you know? So I said, let me just sell that house. And now it's worth like 50,000 more.
Yeah, a lot of regrets.
In that short time period.
Yeah, we talk about regrets. It's all the houses you didn't buy or we didn't go after.
Yeah, but I mean, I see them half of like regret, but also I had to sell those houses to keep going as well, you know?
Right.
So it at the end of the day worked out.
I think in Oklahoma it's probably a safer bet to go ahead and buy that 160 house, you know.
Oh, compared to
California,
the coast,
you get out on either side.
To the coast,
and you could really, if you don't have enough money to hang in for that 8 year, you know, then you're.
I mean, so back in 2007, 2008, you were already in the industry. I wasn't. I was like a sophomore in high school.
2008.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened overnight. It was like June 7th. You went to sleep thinking everything was great.
Yeah.
June 8th, you woke up and it was like there was no mortgages. You couldn't get a loan.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was I'm not kidding. It was a day. I don't know. It wasn't. Obviously, it was more of a progressive.
Right.
But it was like you woke up the next day and the whole world changed in our industry.
So I know the coasts were very affected.
Sure.
Oklahoma was too, but I don't think to that level, right?
Well, conventional loans went away. You know, they went away. So the only, FHA loans were for, maybe credit people that didn't have the right credit. So so that was a tough deal for them.
Okay.
But I would say, they went away. And then we had to learn about FHA loans again. So, and that's pretty much, we've been able to continue doing that from then. So that's helped FHAs. And there's definitely some good things about FHA loans. So.
Yeah. So when I got into it in 2011, I think the market was starting to recover.
It had corrected.
Yeah, it had corrected. So, but I mean, I still, like I said, those $40,000 houses, you can't find those anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the cheapest house that I got recently, and I say recently, 2019, it was $60,000, 3-bed, 1-bath, and more, and it was $60,000. So that was really good deal for that time.
Right.
Yeah, for that time, I think that's the cheapest one that I got.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What talked a lot of business. I get your passion for it. I'm guessing that came from the dinner table.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Personally, what's going on in your life personally?
I mean, personally, so I have a girlfriend. We have no kids right now, so we've just been kind of living life. And, since I started early, in the real estate investing game, I worked really hard for 10 years. And I got kind of to the point where you could say that I'm financially free. So, and I mean, I can, pack up my stuff and go on a trip for 3 months, which is what we did in the last quarter of 2022. We went to Europe for about 3 months.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I love real estate. I love working. I love flipping houses. I love investing. But at the same time, I'm at that point where I can just, get up and go if I want to.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
the L. That's leverage.
Yeah, that's leverage.
Right.
Yeah, that's leverage.
That's
so
great.
I've got, some systems set up and have some rental properties as well. That kind of gives me the passive income. And it's cool. Yeah. I'm at a good point in life, I would say.
What's something we don't know about you?
I think something that a lot of people don't know is that in 2012, so I used to be I guess you could say YouTuber. I started
we had a viral deal that you did.
Yeah,
it was a
with
Tulio's TikTok
listing. Yeah, so I put it on TikTok because he made a listing description, kind of like a Gen Z.
Right.
So I just put it on TikTok, just as a voiceover.
It was great,
and it blew up. Yeah. It blew up. I think it's in the millions. I don't know what
No, it was in the millions within maybe 3 or 4 weeks.
I think it was like a week.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was like a week.
I haven't seen it lately,
1 million.
though.
Yeah, within a week, and then I think it's like maybe 3 million now.
That's amazing.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy because when I travel, I make videos and I post them, and I put a lot of effort into these travel videos, and they're like quick little montages of the places we go to, and they get maybe like 1,000 views, 2,000 views. But the ones that are very simple, and I just like talk over, or like I do a quick little pan. They've gone viral for some reason. I did
TikTok,
one on TikTok, yeah. Instagram as well. I had a couple, but I think I was at the Cancun airport and it was packed. It was during COVID as well.
I saw that one.
And so I know
just exactly where you were standing.
Took a quick video of the airport just packed. I think that video has 7 million now.
Was that the one where Southwest shut down was that same? No.
No. It was just during COVID, and I was just saying how packed it was even during COVID.
Yeah.
And it causes a lot of controversy in the comments, and I think that's what pushes your video more, because it's more engagement.
What was the controversy about it? It was just a video about people.
The pandemic, not respecting things like that.
Get the vaccine.
Yeah,
don't
people
get
have their opinions. Why are you traveling right now?
Okay.
And things like that. So it causes kind of that engagement in the comments.
Sure.
And it boosts it up. So
that was interesting.
Then occasionally I throw in a little comment in there to keep the fire going.
Okay.
So
you gotta play it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with Tulio's, so that one got a lot of engagement because people started seeing it. People from California,
right?
And they were just. Their mind was blown that I think his listing was maybe 160, 170,000.
It was.
For a decent house.
Yeah.
And they were like, how can you get a house like that for that,
Right.
And a lot of comments,
800 in there.
Yeah, it's 800, 900,000 in California. So a lot of comments were from Californians saying, crying in Californian right now and things like that. So that caused a lot of engagement.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So that was... Quite a bit of comments were about that.
Yeah, you did a good job on that. But you were saying, I don't know if I cut you off there.
Oh, yeah. So back in 2011, right out of high school, I started a little YouTube channel just for fun. I mean, I was young. I was 18 years old. And just daily vlogging. It was kind of a thing that I saw another YouTuber do. And so I started just kind of documenting my day. And really for me, because it was a time where I got into investing, and I just wanted to keep track of like a video log, which is a vlog, every day, so I could see what I did in 1 year. But I started posting them on Facebook, and back then on Facebook, you never saw a video. So I think that's what had a lot of people click and watch it, because now Facebook is all videos. And back then, nobody was posting videos.
Yeah. So,
a lot of friends and family started watching, and they liked it. And then I was held accountable for if I missed one day. People would say, where's the video? So I kept posting them.
And this is on your Facebook page still, if we went back and looked?
No. So all the videos are set on private now, because I look back now, and it's pretty embarrassing, the stuff that I would post. But it was just funny. Like funny stuff. Sometimes I would do little skits and stuff. So there was one video that I made that was called Things Mexicans Say. And it was just a funny thing that other Mexicans could relate to growing up in a Mexican household. Things that, because I mean, that was kind of a trend back then. People would make things, white people said, things Mexicans say. So I did a Things Mexicans Say. And it blew up, man. At that time in 2011, it was like 250,000 views within the first few days. And so that kind of like put me on the map. And every video after that was getting about 70,000 views. And so I kind of got a little audience in a way. Yeah, so I kept at it. I submitted my video to a contest for a show called Internet Icon. And it was the first YouTube show that YouTube ever created. And it was in LA. And they emailed me and they said, hey, you got, top 50.
Oh, wow.
We want to fly you out. And so I did it. That was in 2012. And so I went
How old were you then?
I was 20.
Okay.
Yeah, I just turned 20.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went to LA, filmed Internet Icon. It was kind of like American Idol for YouTubers.
That's
so you have your video playing, you have the judges right in front of you, and the judges, it was the #1 most subscribed YouTuber at that time. His name's Ryan Higa, and I think he's doing other things now. I think like Twitch streaming or something, but at that time he was #1. So we sat right in front of them. He judged our video. I didn't make top 10, so I flew back to Oklahoma, and that's whenever I was going to go to OU. And so I had to make a decision. I said, do I, go all in on school, or do I continue the YouTube thing? And I don't know. I feel like I was a little discouraged that I didn't make the top 10 at that show. So I chose school, which today is probably one of my biggest regrets.
Wow.
Because you see that YouTube money now.
Yeah.
Man. And I mean, back then, YouTube wasn't what it is today.
Yeah.
You know, back then you had to make YouTube Partner to make money. Now you can monetize any video.
Sure.
Back then you couldn't. Back then you had to make YouTube Partner to monetize your video. So it was very hard back then. But I didn't know. If I would have known what YouTube was going to be today, I probably would have stuck at it. So that's probably one of my biggest regrets is stopping, because I had that traction already. I had that following, and I just stopped it. Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah. Nico, my youngest son, this was when he was in junior high, so that might have been the same time frame that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. He had an Instagram, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and he had 60,000 followers.
Really?
At that point. And he was doing things called shout-outs, where he would say, like somebody walked by, he was making, really the reason he did it was because people at lunch would walk up and pay him $5, say, give me a shout out. So he would go on his Instagram and say, hey, say hi to at whoever. And so they would get their followers from 16 to 27 or something.
Yeah, yeah. You know? I never heard about that.
Yeah, but so he was, then he sold it. Now that's a whole nother story. Yeah. But you sell your login and your password, which.
So you sell the account.
Yeah. Mm. And then they just flip the pictures up and somebody's got 60,000.
Yeah.
He did that. And I think that's one of his big regrets is that he sold that,
It is, man, because you see like these huge YouTubers now raking in probably 200, 300,000 a month, maybe more. I mean, the big ones are making way more than that.
Yeah,
but
it's ridiculous.
It's crazy. So that's probably one of my biggest regrets too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's
and
good.
Now I'm 31, I'm kind of past that stage.
You can't do it.
You can't do it anymore, I mean, I guess you could, but it's a lot harder now, Back then I didn't care about anything. I didn't care,
I would think the followers are going to be younger.
Right.
Most of those people that are going to plug into you.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's great. Well, it's good to have you.
Yeah, good to be here.
We'll be back next week.
All right.